hot plate, stirrer, uh, furnace. These I established in my lab to produce the nanoparticles, whatever I want, and with some chemicals also there. So I want to share my work with you, all of you. I combinedly did with my scholars. I want to explain with you because may be useful for you. You also maybe initiate this kind of lab in your institution also. Thank you very much for all the coordinators for their introduction to me. And today's session is nanotechnology. Everybody knows since a long, so many years, people are talking about nanotechnology in a different fields, in a different areas. So, majority in industries now, great revolution is there to adopt the nanotechnology into many things. I think in Industrial Revolution 4.0, this is one of the major point. There's a lot of contribution is there in terms of economy for all the countries, nanotechnology. And I also proud to say Dr. B.S. Murthy Garu is the director IIT Hyderabad. He did a lot of work on nano coating, nanomaterials. He got many awards from India and from President of India and Prime Minister of India. He is excellent, really eminent professor who did a lot of work in nanometals and nanotechnology. So, Saris earlier he worked in IIT Madras. Then now he became a director for IIT Hyderabad. So, we inspired many things from our elders, from our seniors really. So I did a small work I want to share with you. Just a little introduction with a few minutes about introduction of nanotechnology. Then we enter into the real work. So nanotechnology, many people read about the various applications in a medical aerospace industry, automotive industry, aircraft industry, in a many areas. So that's what is a nanoscale. That the technology nanoscale that has applications in the real world. Nanotechnology encompasses the production and application of physical, chemical, and biological systems at scales ranging from individual atoms or molecules to submicron dimensions, as well as the integration of the resulting nanostructures into layer systems. So, nano layers, nanoparticle, individual atoms depositions, all those things is happened depends on the requirement. Dear friends, this is a nanotechnology. Our India is the contribution is very very small really, and United States is very high. Then next to China and Russia, and other countries are little bit better, Japan and Germany, South Korea, but our India is very very poor really. Still, we need to more focus on this area, and many people contribution required to develop technology in this field. So nanotechnology is likely to have a profound impact on our economy and society in the early stage, 21st century. So comparable to that of semiconductor technology, information technology, or cellular and molecular biology. So these areas extensively use nanotechnology to kill the bacteria, to improve the bacteria. A lot of depends on the requirement we are using the nanotechnology. That's what you see in a nano electronics also. We are using the extensively used in. That's what you can see. The mobile size is very very small. Even in the future, is a foldable mobile also is coming into the market. So we expect because the technology is growing very fast, rapidly changes in the system, so that you will get the even a small sizer also. Science and technology research in nanotechnology promises breakthrough in areas such as materials and manufacturing. That's what I focused on, materials and manufacturing, nanoelectronics, medicine and healthcare, energy, biotechnology, information technology, and national security. That's what you see the nanotechnology healthcare. I think you know nanobot is designed with our eminent people. That nanobot carries the nanoparticles wherever the problem is there or wherever the disease is there in the human body, then the nanobots move and spread the nanoparticles at that particular area and kill the bacteria. So, but design a nanobot that size is a very challenge to our mechanical engineers or materials engineers. So, and just only I'm not deep into the history because everybody knows, but only small things, micro and nano and bulk. This is the difference only we can get here. This is the bulk and this is the micro and this is the nano. So the history uh, is very long back is new, but now it's almost 50 years, 60 years ago, the people are doing a lot of research. But it is not an entirely new field. Nature has gone through evolution over the 3.8 billion years since life is estimated to have appeared on the earth. Nature has many materials, objects, and processes which function from microscale to nanoscale. That's what the importance is there here. There are large number of objects including bacteria, plants, land, and aquatic animals, seashells, and spider web with properties of commercial interest. See, in a commercial applications also, the people are developed. I will tell you one more example. The BS Murthy sir is developed a new technology for Vizag steel plant. In a Vizag steel plant, the crucible is there. I saw his interview on Eureka. One channel is there, Eureka. I saw Sar interview. He's delivered many things really. So one of the technology, the crucible which we melt the iron, the crucible is working at a steel is a steel melting point, 1539 degrees centigrade. So this temperature is very high, and the crucible inside layer we constructed with some uh, refractory material. But these refractory materials also sometimes fail because they are repeatedly used. That crucible in the Vizag steel plant, the people are used to produce the liquid steel. So melting practice in the crucible not easy really. Lot of heat is transmitted to the walls of that crucible. So this sometimes refractory material is also damaged. Then the Vizag steel plant people are approached IIT Madras that time, where B.S.C. Mutsar did his work in IIT Madras. So SAR is given excellent technology. The refractory material also inside carried a nano coating so that the life period of instead of 12 months, he extended 2 years, more than 2 years also. Just only the nanoparticle, a thin layer coating on the refractory material, which is placed inside the crucible. So that is the importance of the thing. We can save the material real. Not is the 2 years, 3 years is not a, but how long you are extending the material life, how long you are extending the material life, save the material life. That is the important. That is the challenge. Lot of money, lot of economy we save, lot of money we save. That Vizag Steel is really happily now they are implemented in Vizag Steel plant. The technology is very, very great really. Like that sort did many things. So, dear friends, this is the history of the nanotechnology and many things are happened here. And some of the overviews about nanotechnology and its things we are going to discuss in the coming slides. And this is the nanostructured materials, this cholesterol, if any is formed in the nerves, that may be damaged with the sending the nanoparticle or place the nanoparticle at the proper location. The cholesterol may be nullified or removed from the internal tubes because this is a heart problem because of the formation of the cholesterol. So materials with morphological features on the nanoscale in at least one dimension, that is the 100 nanometer, are referred to as the nanomaterials. They can be classified as a nano-sized and nanostructured materials. See, to conduct the nano experiments, we need a lot of experimental setup. But such a private or institutions or small institutions is not possible. See, even IITs and NITs, they have a lot of fund. They establish their own laboratories. Even the same scanning electron microscope cost is, or XRD microscope cost is more than 1 crore. Not easy to establish such kind of, but even though you conduct the experiment in your own lab and take that sample and test in a repeated organizations to get the result. So, a nanostructured material can be defined as the with nanoscale morphological features constructed using the combination of nano size. That's what I'm showing here. The particle is a nano size, very, very small. That going to kill the cholesterol inside the tubes and create the empty space. And some of the classifications, nanomaterials is nano-sized and nano-structures. There are two classifications of the nanomaterials. Nano-sized is the particles, rods, and tubes. These are the examples, some of the quantum dots, wells, grain, phase. These are we call the nano-sized. Whereas nanostructures is coating, substrates. These are thin films are formed. Metals, alloys, and ceramics and composites. These are the things. So the overall property of the nanostructured material depends essentially on parameters such as the size and distribution of the nanoparticles and the nature of grain boundaries and the interaction between the phases. So due to small sizes of the building blocks, high surface to volume ratio, and very high relative number of atoms in the grain or phase boundaries, these materials are expected to have improved and diversified properties when compared with their microstructure counterparts. That's what as long as you size is decreased. For example, in my experiment, I used 24 nanometer and 32 nanometer. This is only possible with me to produce the nanoparticles. Some people also still the size should be smaller and smaller. So that depends on the available equipment in the lab. So the applicability of the nanometals in many key application areas, including energy conservation, biomedical, and corrosion prevention. Not only one area. Now nano enter into occupy many areas. It's a diversified into many fields. So you see that applications have given only electronics parts. You see many of the components they're designed with the nano materials. So medicine, computers, electronics, mobile, fabrics, energy, textile, and military applications. So these are the some of the I have given a medical application. I will give a small example about drug delivery and drug therapies. So as I told you, the nanobot is carrying the drug particles and which we spread into that wherever the disease is there. So that's what. So enable drugs to deliver to precise the right location in the body because that nanobot we can operate through your sensors. Wherever that part we can move, so we can feed that. We are programming that movement of the robot. Dear friends, attach the drug to the nanosized carrier. Release the medicine to kill the tumor. Many things. If the tumors are formed, we can release the medicine and to kill the tumor with the help of this nanoparticles. So as I told, nanobots can clear the blockages in arteries. Gold nanoparticles can be used to detect early stage Alzheimer's disease. That particles are helped to generate the data about the early stage diseases. So who can prevent blindness? The blind people also we can prevent. Yesterday I told in a smart minutes one of the example is Biocon. So Biocon is really excellent problem, but it consists of the lakhs of nano ceramic tubes. Lakhs of nano ceramic tubes we place inside the eye, bionic eye. So that connected to a small nano-sized wire is connected to brain, and they will get at least 10-20% visibility. The people are trying. This is one of the greatest area for the researchers, but we need experimentation setup in the laboratories. So, dear friends, to facilitate bone regeneration in the treatment of osteoporosis. This also we can do. So with this introduction, I can close. Then we enter into the little experiments in my in my laboratory. Just I want to show you what kind of experiment I did in my. These are my scholars. So I can start with my student Vinita. We did together in the laboratory that Al2 magnesium oxide particles we deposit on the steel. With a little instrument we designed in the lab.
So the PPT isn't usable, sir.
Sir,
Yeah, I can share. Yeah. Now it's okay? Yeah.
okay, sir. Now it's
Yeah.
visible.
Yeah, analysis of the magnesium oxide particle. These particles we produced in our laboratory, the 24 nanometer or 32 nanometer size. So we produce it in our own laboratory and its deposition on mild steel by cold spray process. See, I will show you that instrument. Interestingly, one instrument we find where in a beauty parlor, in a beauty parlor, the people are using one gun. So then that face maker, they are going to deposit some particles through that gun. So I remodified that gun. I have taken that gun and remodified that machine and used for my own experimentation in a cold spray process. I will show that instrument also. So this is the interesting in my experimentation. We did synthesis of magnesium oxide nanoparticles by solution combustion process, depositing of nanoparticles on mild steel with the airbrush by cold spray technique at different temperatures. So I have also observed at various temperatures how the nanoparticles are react with the surface of the mild steel. So that also I did in my experiment. Effects to be discussed after deposition during the process. Dear friends, and the simple material I use really, which is required to continue my experimentation for this mild steel plate that size I have taken many, and I do polishing also with emery and disc polishing also I can use, and the magnesium nitrate, uh, ascorbic acid, airbrush device. These are the simple things required to continue my experimentation. So synthesis of the nanoparticles using the in a solution combustion process really. So I have taken magnesium oxide is prepared by solution combustion process. This is the stoichiometric amounts of magnesium nitrate and L-ascorbic acid are taken into beaker and stirred for 30 minutes. These two combination solutions we have taken and stirred for 30 minutes on a magnet stirrer. So magnet stirrer is available in my lab. And placed, after that I placed in a hot plate about 1000 degrees centigrade. Then you start this reaction. This is the ascorbic acid and this is the magnesium nitrate and you will get the magnesium oxide. Not easy, but again here is a one more problem is health issues are there, inhalation problem is there. While you are producing the nanoparticles, lot of precautions are required to prepare the nanoparticles. So dear friends, please, I request all of you, please take care of these things because when we enter into the nanoparticles, that may be kill some of the organs also. You take a lot of precautions for the preparation of this. And magnesium oxide is the flammable material, you believe or not. Handling is also very, very important. That's what, before you conduct the experiment, you first know about the properties of that material. What kind of properties are there? Whether it is hazardous or is a useful or any inflammable. Many things. You please study about all the properties of these ceramic particles. And these are the things I required. This is a hot plate and furnace is there. And in the bowl, finally, we collected magnesium oxide particles. So cold spray process. This is the gun actually which is used in beauty parlor. So this is a small gun, but I expanded. Inside string is there and the shaft is there, horizontal shaft when you press and continuously. And above that is the chamber is there. So in the chamber you have to mix the particle. But only particle if I use, then the particle is not deposited. Particle is not coming out from the nozzle. Or some of the particles are struck because the nozzle size is very, very small. So I find it very difficult because in a beauty parlor, whatever they are used chemicals in a liquid form. So liquid is very easily coming out, but nanoparticle is a solid particles. The coming through nozzle is very, very difficult. So that I filled with some of the air. Sometimes I used ethanol. I did many experiments to because once you not get the success, then we have to see generally alternate method. That's what this gun, this is a small gun I purchased from the market, and I did experiment with this. So this is a model of NXA and NXB. New York was used for coating MGO nanoparticles on mild steel at different temperatures. So prepared nanoparticles are taken into the airbrush reservoir. That is the above the gun is reservoir is there. Reservoir is nothing but to fill the nanoparticles and air or ethanol, whatever you want. And the hose connector is connected to the compressor. I also purchased small compressor. Very big compressor, the pressure is there. When you release the pressure, these nanoparticles are not there in the chamber. So that nanoparticles may be spread into different directions. I want to create the small pressure. So that I purchased this small level, low level compressor, which we produce the 2.4 bars pressure. So that connected to the this device, and we mix the air and nanoparticles. Otherwise, then the nanoparticle is clustered at one place. It's not moving because the powder form. So that's what once you once along with the nanoparticle, once you fill the air through the compressor, then you release the you create some pressure inside. Then nanoparticles are flowing uniformly. The distribution is also uniformly we can expect. As the force applied on the trigger, a stream of fast moving air through a venture, which creates a local reduction air pressure that allows the particle to pull off from an interconnected reservoir at normal atmosphere pressure. I did a lot of combinations, trial and error methods to get the success. Once you use the new machine, not easy. See, the design is not suitable to me. So what I did, I taken that instrument, but I modified according to my requirement. That's what we got a success to deposit. I will show the samples also. So after depositing these materials, whether deposited reaction is there or not, then those samples I have tested on XRD, X-ray diffraction test also there. So this is the, we can calculate the peak levels and all, and we substitute in Debye formula, and we get the nano size. Size we can calculate. What is the particle size of that? After the nanoparticle, if we tested, what kind of size we have used here. So XRD analysis only, after that only we can, we know, this is the called the Debye-Scalar equation. So this is the size of the particle. So generally I used to get a 24 or 38 or 32 nanometer size, which I used in depositing nanoparticles. See, this is a mathematically we can calculate, or sometimes XRD will directly give the value. So internally, this equation is there. So then the intercorrelation is done, and you will get the value. So after that, some of the sample I did in a scanning electron microscope. I went to DMRL, DRDO. I visited to test some of the sample, or NIT Warangal. So NIT Warangal is very busy. Only one machine is there, and people are huge is there. A lot of samples are waiting for to get the value to conduct the tests on scanning electron microscope. Then we go to Usmania. Some of the times we visit the Usmania University also, because machine availability is very limited places really. In a limited places like NIT Warangal, only one machine is there. Is there any repair? Then again problem comes, where we go? So then we go to the place. Hello?
Yes, sir. We listen you, sir. We can hear you.
Yeah, some problem is there. I don't know that. Yeah. Mahesh
Now
is
it's
audible. My voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Your voice.
I can listen you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
I have taken at a different temperatures a sample. You see all four uh, images, the microstructures, whether at what kind of deposition is taking place. So I have collected. This is the same images of MgO nanoparticles at different magnifications. Then other images where you see some of the places the still the particles are deposited hugely, huge amount is deposited. Some area is not deposited, like that is happened. But we try to resolve that issue by designing. This is the machine we are going to. You see that how we are operated that machine. So there is sample we can because 40 by 40 because we are going to conduct the corrosion test also. This is the standard size. This corrosion testing machine is available in Andhra University, Vizag. So people are, I used to visit the Andhra University. One of my Guru Srinivas Rao is the earlier he was the head, I think. Sir was the head. I visited many times the materials department because their corrosion testing equipment is available. SAR is established the corrosion testing facilities hugely. So Andhra University, thanks to those people really for helping us to connect some of the experiments there also. The coated samples we can see here. And after coating, you can see some of the samples at 600 degrees centigrade. And I think is not clearly visible, but A is the same images of coated MgN magnesium oxide nanoparticles on mild steel at 600 degrees centigrade, but the same thing at 800 degrees centigrade. Mahesh, sir,
Sir, tell me, sir.
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
something is
Yes,
going
sir.
on. Somebody is hold my presentation. I don't know. Yeah, is now visible presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we are able to see
It's
see the
visible.
screen, sir.
Okay.
Same image of coated samples is the page right now, sir.
Yeah, but I'm yeah. So these samples I did some of the samples in NIT Warangal and some of the samples I did in DMRL to take the photographs. And here also you see EDX analysis of MgO. Whether the after coating what happens, this nanoparticle MgO, magnesium oxide nanoparticles react with the surface or not. If the reaction is there, even in the mild steel also, what kind of composition is there? So with that compositions, which element is actually interact with the nanoparticles to form the bond. That also I get an analysis at different samples. You see here, the elemental composition of coated samples at different temperatures. This EDX pattern shows that the coated sample at 600 degrees centigrade shows the less magnesium percentage and along with the iron, carbon and oxygen, whereas for coated samples at 800 degrees. This is we observed real. That's what I written statement is. At coated sample at 600 degrees centigrade shows less magnesium oxide percentage along with the iron, carbon and oxygen compared to the 800 degrees centigrade. That means the temperature influence. The temperature influence to react with the magnesium oxide particles. Dear friends, this is we are going to do experimentation in the in a laboratories. It shows a deposition rate of magnesium is high at 800 degrees centigrade when compared to 600 degrees centigrade. And you see the mild steel percentage 4.45, 5.45 is the carbon, 19.97 is oxygen, magnesium is 0.04, and iron is 74.54. I tested composition, which kind of a mild steel I used before deposition, because the reaction I want to analyze. The reaction or bond placed on only composition only. So MgO oxide particles and the elements which is there in the mild steel is going to react, and what kind of compound is formed to improve the surface characteristics. That's what I'm going to uh, test this composition of the mild steel also. So this is the elemental composition of the coated samples at different temperatures. So it's 600 degrees centigrade, at 800 degrees centigrade, and these are the elements. And now you see here, little variation is there, where the deposition is higher. That's what you see, 47.08% weight percent is there magnesium at 800 degrees centigrade, whereas in a 600 degrees centigrade, 38.04% is there. Then I can say my experiment is done very good. These are the experimentally proved. After I did EDX analysis, so the yes 47.08% shows very clearly. Then at 600 degrees centigrade, where I coated the sample with MgO nanoparticles. That's what I confirmed. This is my experimentation is somewhat is good. I'm in a right direction. So I can prove myself I'm in the right direction, that deposition is there. After, with evidence only, we can say to the people. And in fact, this is published in a very good article also, this work is. And the surface roughness analysis also, I did before coating and after coating for 600 and 800 degrees centigrade. You see that the sample, you see the surface roughness values. You clearly, the tabular form shows very clear. At first sample, you see base metal, the surface roughness is the 1.355 micron. But whereas after heat treatment, after heat treatment at 600 degrees centigrade, the structure 1.054, because some of the irregularities dissolved after heat treatment. This is the without coating. Uh, and after coating, you see this side is there. So this is the without coating. Even 1.355 is minimized to 1.054. This is the 600 degrees centigrade because somewhat dissolved. Again, some 1.554. So somewhat get little bit higher value because the temperature maybe some irregularities are there. So here also you can see the deposition of MgO at 600 degrees is drastically come down, where 1.355 is come down to 0.797. This instrument is there in our TeleSurf instrument is there in our laboratory to measure the surface roughness values. Like that second and the average, I can calculate also for all the samples. Hardness have taken micro hardness and the Rockwell hardness too, and Brinell also is there in my lab. Material testing laboratory I established somewhat is good in this region. So, dear friends, base metal after heating the values and at 600 degrees centigrade, 800 degrees, after deposition of the magnesium oxide particles at 600 and 800 degrees, what is the hardness values? So then I written very well about this paper to communicate to the society or elsewhere publications. So this is I concluded with this work, small work with the magnesium particles depositions. So 38 nanometer I produced, I analyzed with X-ray analysis. So the solution combustion process gives the 38 nanometers. Mild steel 800 shows the fine surface roughness when compared to 600 degrees centigrade. And surface roughness is also higher deposition of MgO nanoparticle at the 800 degrees centigrade temperature. So surface roughness, hardness value, all those things I did and concluded with this part. So, dear friends, this is a small experimentation I did in my own lab with available resources. Then I want to share with you one more experiment. with all of you. Sorry. Yeah, this is the one more experimentation recently I did with my BTech students. A very simple process really, turning, you know, lathe machine. If you go for, Mahesh is audible? Hello? Mahesh
Yes,
sir?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yeah, yes, sir.
just, sorry. This is another experiment I did recently with the latest batch I did with this study the effect of nano coating on steel during turning process. Why you choose the steel always? This availability is more because whether I want to confirm whether this experiment is good or not, that's what I tested. But I written proposal to DST also on this things for 45 lakhs I submitted recently. That is under review after this. Because after confirmation only, my practice is to write the proposal. Whether these values are good, then there is a chance to expectations to sanction the project. That's what this is my practice in my institution. So, dear friends, nano coating, these particles TiO2 and Al2O3, NGO, Cr2O3, all ceramic oxide particles, nanoparticles we produce. With a little amount we can produce in my lab, so that is a comfortable. But bulk, yeah, because it takes hours together. 24 hours working in the lab is not possible. That's what we produce little quantity, and that we can use for testing for our purpose. So nano coatings are ultra thin layers or chemical structures that are built upon surfaces by a variety of methods. Nano coating thickness is approximately 0.125 micrometer. This is I used Motic software, software which is used to find the thickness of the coating thickness of that after depositing your nanoparticles. More or less, entire surface is getting uniform, but in some area is, but this is average value. So some types of coating materials are titanium dioxide, aluminum oxide, magnesium oxide, chromium oxide. These, but here only I did with small experimentation with my students. So nano surface generation, this is a challenge to us. Not only steel for any material, uh, the surface generation with the proper coating material. So nano surface finish has become an important parameter in the optical. Yes, this is very, because optical is a transparent, electrical and mechanical industries. Mechanical industries, I told no Vizag steel plant. That BS Muthusar is a delivered his technology to Vizag steel plant to improve the life of the crucible. So for the some more extension, because we can save the money instead of continuously repairing that crucible. Uh, the materials such as the ceramics, glasses are very difficult for machining, but we can do coating. So machining of these materials up to nano accuracy is a great challenge in the manufacturing. So the accuracy levels we try to improve by depositing a right material. See, some of the glasses we give the cooling effect to the eyes, or some of the glasses are resistant to the ultraviolet rays. So some of the glasses are providing temperature resistance. If the temperature is 40 or 45, at room temperature is a different. So we can design our own opticals with this coating process. So the nano materials are especially used in the machining process to improve the surface characteristics from micro to nano level. So this is the sol gel method to preparation of the nanoparticles. Uh, this is the solution stirring and hydrolysis condensation is there, and gel formation is there, a drying process. And again, finally we'll get, this is evaporation drying and this is supercritical drying. Storage gel, finally we'll get the compound. Whichever you want. You want more quality or less quality, depends on your requirement, you can design. And XRD analysis already I discussed in the previous slide. This is the Debye-Scarrer equation. This is very, very important. Those were earlier mathematically they are taken the peak values and a lambda, wavelength of the radiation, diffraction angle, everything they are taken from the peaks, XRD, in olden days. So those values they are taken and submit in the formula and they calculated D value. So where D is the average size of the particle. But nowadays you can get the value by scanning or by the XRD analysis. The machine is automatically, a lot of changes are there in the machine right now. So dear friends, all of this also XRD analysis I discussed, and some of the techniques to deposit the nanoparticles on uh, various techniques really. So some of the techniques are used here, but I use in a different techniques. So chemical vapor decomposition is there, plasma spray process is there, electropaint plating is there, roll coating is there. Roll coating is very simple. The coating is on the surface is obtained by passing the metal between the rolls or rollers. So aerosol deposition, painting. So painting is the semi-solid, semi-liquid, and you can do that painting also to improve the surface characteristics. And in my procedure, in my experimentation, the parameters I have taken the rotational speed, carriage speed, and feed. So these three parameters are there in lathe machine. So I have a automatic all-gate lathe machine is there in my lab. So that I choose because the feeding is automatically. Manually, feeding is we cannot control. So sometimes is higher and sometimes is lower. Then it becomes very, very tough. That's what I choose the automatic uh, lathe machine. So that is the all-gate lathe machine is there in my lab. So that's what these rotational speed and carriage speed and feed, these three parameters I choose. Uh, why I am choosing these are, I am varying these three values so that the temperature, friction generation is varied. This friction is converted into temperature. I use the temperature sensor to measure the temperature at various values. I will show the tabular form also, how I am taking the value. These are my values. You see there are 27 samples are there. Rotational speed 305 and carriage speed is 60 and feed rate is the 0.3 mm per revolution. And second value is the 500 and third is the 835. These are the available in our machines, but the spindle capacity is more than 900 RPM. That's what I am choosing these values. So you take the different combinations. So 3 into 9, 27 sample you will get the things. These 27 sample I collected, I used in my experimentation and taken the values also. So these are the specimen I used to cut for the required length from the power axa. 60 mm length I have taken is very easily comfortable to place in the check, uh, to place in the jaws. And this is the all gate lathe machine I have taken in my experimentation. And so this is one of my student is working, and this gun is also there. So one of my student is working on this. This gun is used to sense the temperature, measuring the temperature. Checking the temperature during turning process, the temperature is measured by using the proximity temperature indicator. So because the 27 sample at a different parameters variation, different friction is generated because tool to tool contact. Metal is a mild steel and your single point cutting tool is also HSS. Metal to metal contact is there, definitely friction is generated. Then convert into temperature. The temperature is recorded. And I used to test where at what temperature these nanoparticles are getting deposited accurately. So this is the Tailey surf. which is used to measure the surface roughness, and this is the Rockwell machine for I record the or measure the hardness value. So this is the after coating. You see the nano coating has been taken in the beaker with a small amount of binding agent in it. That is ethanol we can use, such that the powered nano materials will be turned into the liquid form. That's what my student is sprayed with some instrument. This is the temperature measurement, but she took another device also. This is a device. So I taken a beaker and I calculated amount, required amount of the nanoparticles, required amount of the solution, that ratio also I have taken, and she's spraying while turning, she's spraying the liquid other side. So manually, because I cannot design manually that instrument, but in future definitely we will do the manually and we will get the some more accuracy. So this is the experimentation I did in my lab, and that is shows very clearly. All setups is there. That's what you see here, where the nanoparticles has been taken in the beaker with a small amount of binding agent that is polymer in 1:1 ratio. Their friends. So that's what I told. Ethanol alcohol is added to little quantity to that nanoparticle such that it should be make the powder into the liquid form of to the spraying consistency. Why I am choosing the ethanol alcohol? So after depositing, what happens is this ethanol is evaporated, is alcohol. So it's not stand on the surface of the steel. So after deposit, this is only carrying agent. I am using for carrying nanoparticles from the gun to the surface of the steel. So after depositing this, ethanol should be evaporated. So then the nozzle is inserted into the beaker of nano coating, and then the spray gun pressed to spray the liquid nano coating in the form of a fine spray on the mild steel specimen, which is turned during turning on the all-wheel lathe machine. So while turning the workpiece and nozzle spray the solution at the uniformly all over the workpiece and covering all the area of it. So that is the only challenging, because when we do the manually, the spray should be uniformly throughout the specimen. That's what I have taken a 60 mm length only. If you take the bulk, then very difficult to spray that. So that's what a 60 mm length specimen is there. I have taken the rod length, and we during the turning only we spray that. The little that length is very comfortable for me to deposit nanoparticles uniformly. Dear friends, this is the setup writing. So now then I go to testing part, the surface of that material, whether the coating is deposited uniformly or not. What is the surface level? Surface, I did surface coating, whether it is done or not using the Telesurf. So this is the various sample in the box is there, what I did experiment in lab. So I did a small analysis after coating, before and after coating. So dear friends, you see this value. Temperature we recorded using the temperature sensor. These are the three parameters, and temperature we recorded, surface we recorded, and hardness we recorded. Only before coating this is. But after coating also, and that time we temperature we know, but the same values are there. Then we can deposit. This is the first time without depositing I have taken all these values. And I did a small analysis with respect to temperature and feed rate. The remaining parameters I put constant. These are the parameters I have taken, and I've drawn the sum of the graphs. The temperature somewhere is increasing, somewhere is decreasing with the feed rate, and other parameters also influencing. That's what I've taken this analysis. This is the first one is the 60 carriage speed. And the second one you see at the 80 carriage speed, the graph should be totally different from 60. So definitely the carriage speed is if 80, some more inflation is there to deposit the particle. maybe friction is generated huge amount in at 60 carrier speed, and 100 still is increasing those values. And surface roughness also, the analysis with respect to carrier speed. At 60, this kind of graph is generated. At 80, this is a graph we generated. So, dear friends, this is the analysis. If you are interested really, it's a very good work. Not much money is involved. It's a simple experimentation. You can also start your own experimentation in your lab, because every institution, if the mechanical department is there, lathe machine is there. So only little equipment is required, tools are required to do the experimentation of this kind of parts. I am not going to very high level end applications. I am not going to end high level end applications because my sources are limited. So what I thought, what I can do best for my children, for best my for students, so that they can realize something instead of people are the thesis may be copied from some others. So I am not allowed. As a head of the department, I should not allow anybody to get the things. But all projects are they did here only. So, and in fact, I'm proud to say, so during a final year, the major project, I converted out of 12 teams, 6 team projects we converted into patents. Product-oriented patents we converted. We did this kind of works, all those things, very interesting. Right. So, dear friends, is 100 carrier speed, the surface roughness value this is. And hardness also I did same thing for all these sample for 60 and 80 and 100. Then now we are going to publish this work into various. I started writing this paper. This is a newly work, still is not published, but I am going to write. So these are the values after TiO2. That's what I am not giving an analysis too much on these slides. Only orally, peripherally, I can tell you these are the things I am going to connect. That is the MgO and this is the TiO2 coating. I did 2 experiments here. This is another TiO2 particle after TiO2 coating. With the same sample, same parameters. So what I did for the earlier experiment you see here, this is a coating for Al2O3 and this is for titanium dioxide. These the same conditions are taken and compare, and even in fact temperature is also a little bit changes. The temperature depends on the material property. That is material property. Al2 is different and TiO2 is different. So in a graphical representation, again I calculated all those things. I compare with all the before experimentation and after depositing TiO2. 80 carrier speed. Carrier speed is 60 for hardness, 80 on carrier speed for 100. 100. These are the Al2O3 nano coating. Is the nanoparticles depositions. So I did a lot of work for my students for their realization. Really interesting. They are involved and they completed their work in this. So similarly, graphical representation of this for Al2O3 at a 60 carrier speed and 80 carrier speed and 100 carrier speed. So this is the somewhat the properties are improved compared to titanium dioxide. So I start writing analysis very soon on this part also. So we go to some of the experimentations we need here. Still I am waiting for the XRD and SIM. Already I sent samples. Samples are waiting for testing. Then I want to share with you regarding this work, because anybody is maybe they are interested to do work. That's what I am sharing my values. This is 100 carrier speed. Now you see that samples. You see clearly. There are 3 samples here: non-coated, Al2O3 coated, and titanium dioxide coated. Dear friends, these are the things are there. So you see, still those samples are with me, not rusted. Al2O3 and titanium dioxide. This I did only on turning, on lathe machine only. So uh, clearly that's what I want to show you. These are the parameters: hardness value, surface roughness value, and the parameters, that is the rotational speed, carriage speed, feed rate. All those things I mentioned very clearly. At what condition the best uh, surface is prepared with nano coating. So among the L2O3, I placed the best sample out of 27. And this is also many samples, but at the lower conditions, still some areas rust is formed where the coating is not non-uniform, but this coating is done excellent really. And these are, I've done, these three samples I've done at same time, you see. But this is without coating, because without coating, if the steel is exposed to atmosphere, the iron is going to react with oxygen, which is available in open atmosphere, and form the iron oxide. Rust is formed immediately. Dear friends, so this is the, I written some of the conclusion. Sorry to say I am not much, because some more experimentation is required to confirm this value. Whether this value is correct or not, I want to see this scanning electron microscope and XRD. So after that only I can discuss with you. This is the, some of the experimentation I did on turning machine. And interestingly, I also did on only heat treatment process. One more experiment I did with one more batch on the, at the same time with the heat treatment process. Mahesh, do you hear me?
Yes,
Ma-
sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. We can hear you, sir.
yeah. Is the fine or any different disturbance is there?
No, no, sir. It's fine, sir. We can listen you.
Okay, thank you. And one more work I want to share with you. That is the, using the heat treatment process. Simple, simple experiments only, not too much things. So here is one more my student Shah Hussain. He did experimentation on heat treatment process. This is the machining process, purely mechanical process. This is the heat treatment process. That is the metallurgical aspects. What are the changes are there? You know, annealing and martensiting and tempering, all the heat treatment process are there. So, but I have taken the small temperatures, not up to the annealing point or normalizing point. But I did confirmed some of the coatings is done on the sample. So here, visible is there my presentation?
No, sir.
Yeah, sorry. Now it's okay?
Now it's visible.
Yeah, this is a sim simple process here. Study the effect of nano coating process using the heat treatment process. Simple title. So I did this experiment recently. Now you see important points here are challenges during the heat treatment processes in the current industry to improve the mechanical properties. There are many coating processes in industry to apply on various metals for improving the mechanical properties. These are costly mechanical processes. Today, industry is looking nano coating with simple mechanism to improve the mechanical properties. This point I did actually. I took this point as a challenge to deposit some of the nanoparticles on steel with lower rate, uh, lower cost. But in a large application, high precision application is not suitable, I can say really. But only in some of the decorative purpose and other things, this is okay. But in aircraft industry, aerospace industry, still we need some of the uh, uh, modifications are required to improve these processes. In this study, the nano coating process applied on the metals with the application of the heat treatment. That's what I told. So another challenge in this study is to surface preparation of the metal. So in a heat treatment process, before heat treatment, what I did, I go to lab and sit with my students. I start preparing mirror polishing. Mirror polishing mild steel is not easy. It takes many days together to get the mirror polishing on the surface, because once the surface is clear, there is a chance to react with the nanoparticles to get the bond or to improve the coating. Otherwise, If the rust is there on the surface, if you deposit nanoparticles, you won't get any reaction. There is no bond formation. That's what, dear friends. So the surface preparation is very, very challenging. That's what I took the samples, different emery papers, 200, 300, 400 emery papers. Then 1 by 0, 2 by 0, different sizes of the emery papers. Then again I go to disc polishing. Then after that, the sample I placed in the furnace. Then I heated up and deposit the nanoparticles. See, in the so this is again another example. The term nanotechnology is okay. Already I discussed. This is a history. I think not much required. Advantage of the nano coating, anti-corrosive properties. Basically, steel is very poor for the corrosive properties, but this can improve the corrosive. Wait a minute. I get a call from office. Please, 1 minute. Hello. Hello. హలో చెప్పండి ఇది ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ కాలేజ్ advantage of nano coating, that is the anti-corrosive properties, prolonged protection of industrial assets and excellent surface protection, easy to learn. So for these only I am looking, these properties only I am looking. That's what I am conducted experiment with respect to this. There are some disadvantages during experimentation. That's what I told very beginning also. Please, my dear friends, please take care of your health. Health is utmost important. Without gloves and without mask and spectacles, don't conduct this kind of experiments. This is a very, very challenging because inhalation problems are there, toxicity, different health effects due to particle size. Because the particles is very, 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 very fine. So easily flow in the air. So that we can inhale that nanoparticles. That's very dangerous. Please take care of your health during experimentation. Pre-coating and coating during this experimentation. And the specimen preparation, what I told, 300, 400, 500 and 600 emery papers. These are the different sizes of the emery papers. So this is a simple procedure, some steps, specimen preparation, heat treatment of the specimen at various temperatures. This is 300, 400, 500, 600 and emery papers also there at the first point, and holding the specimen at the temperature and allowing to cool, hardness and roughness measurement. So here you see the coating process is involved. Heat treatment of the specimen at various temperatures, that similarly what I discussed in the previous specimen, holding the specimen at the temperature and spraying the nanoparticles and allowing to cool. So again you measure the hardness and roughness. This I conduct experiment in my lab. So this is the compressor. This is the compressor to rotate the motor we designed to rotate the disc. And you see, after heat treatment, we spray the nanoparticles through the gun. The second diagram can show very clearly. So this is generally we call annealing process. The process heating a metal to an appropriate temperature for certain period of time and slowly cooling in the furnace itself. That's what we call the annealing. And these are the values. Again, the parameters I have taken temperature 300, 400 and 500 and 600. After surface preparation, these temperatures I have taken, and the coating, before coating, I can see hardness is these values, and after coating also this is there. And these are the graphs, some of the graphs, the temperature versus hardness and surface roughness also. I consider similar to the turning process. So I have conducted all these experiments through this also. So these are the samples you can see very clearly. Heat treated sample and nano coated sample. And the last, these two samples we see is good and there is no any corrosion. And this is the again a circular form we designed because of the to test the corrosion. Some of the microstructures also have taken in my optical microscope, where the deposition is there or not. I conducted this. I conducted a microscopic analysis also in my lab. So these are the conclusions extracted from this work. The temperature has a great influence on the deposition of the nanoparticles on the substrate. From the microstructure, it is found that as the some temperature increases the uniformity of the distribution of nanoparticles deposition. There is a cluster of nanoparticles deposited at 300 degrees centigrade, but in other temperatures, it should be uniform. So hardness, so little bit is improved in a sudden cooling when martensite is formed. When hardness, how to improve the hardness by jamming quench test or surface hardening methods. The hardness is improved by only sudden cooling. The hardness is reasonably good after cooling, after coating at higher temperatures. That's already the values are proved. That's what, dear friends, these experiments I conducted in my lab for the benefit of the uh, students to understand easily what science is going on behind this during the experimentation. And another challenging area I have taken, one more point is here. Mm, I want to share the Khaja Jafar. Uh, is another experiment really. This is the nanoparticle influence in other material. So this is the new experiment really. Uh, Mahesh, do you hear me? Is comfortable?
Yes, sir. I
Yes,
can
sir. Yes, sir.
hear you.
Yeah.
You.
See, another experiment is electrical insulation. So this idea generated when I visited one industry in Hyderabad, that Bal Nagar. Uh, is a very good industry, a very big industry, that is the spark insulators. Once I went to, along with the MSME people, that MSME given a chance to visit that industry. Then I saw some of the particles they are taken and used to, that is the micro level particles they used to fill the liquid silicon rubber. This is the, whether many of you know, silicon rubber is the highly flexible material, high temperature resistance material, high corrosion resistance material, high, the properties are extremely good. Silicon rubber, which is used to design the electrical insulation material. So in an insulation point in where the transformers are there, and these materials are used along with the composite bar. So in injection molding method, these rubbers can use and develop the electrical insulation material. Injection molding is a very big injection molding machines are there in that industry. I saw each and every, but I discussed with that sir, Bhimudu, is the managing director, is the CEO, I think, is the owner of that company. I discussed with sir, sir, how to these particles are influencing to change that micro level. Why can't we use the nano? See, that experiment really is a good, but when you use the highly economy particles, if you use them in the material to develop quality product, then the companies or the people, the customers are not ready to bear that amount, he said. So I want to see the customer satisfaction also, like that. So in India, still we need to improve the precision levels, but we still some more time to improve the precision levels. But still, people are doing a lot of research work, uh, convince the people, and even some of the customers also they are looking for accuracy. Cost they are not bad, but majority they bother. If the cost is high, they won't purchase this material. Wherever they get a lower cost, these electrical insulators, they go there and buy the things. So for this company, the market is getting down. See, these people are looking market also. So then cost is also, we can optimize to build the product reasonably based on the customer satisfaction. So this is the improvement of the electrical insulation with the silicon rubber by adding Al2O3 as a filler. So Khaja Jafar is my PG scholar, and he did a PhD also. But the basic research is formed or initiated during his PG program. So silicon rubber is the inorganic synthetic elastomer made from a cross-linked silicon-based polymer reinforced with filler. Silicon rubber can be distinguished from
Sir,
rubber
can you please share your PPT, sir?
by the not visible.
Not visible, sir.
Oh, sorry. This is not visible.
Now okay, sir. Now visible, sir.
Yeah, sorry. This is the, I think title I read actually. Electrical
Yeah.
insulation. But voice is audible?
Yes, sir. Voice is audible. Voice is okay.
Yeah. Improvement of electrical insulation with silicon rubber. This is I want to discuss with you. This is the silicon rubber history. Silicon rubber can be distinguished from rubbers by the atomic structure. It consists of a backbone of silicon atoms with alternating oxygen atoms. Very typical crystal structure really. Does you see that structure? Very, very critical really. But people have developed long back, and these now applications are used in many areas really. Many, even in medical applications also. Dentists they are using many areas really. So silicon rubber is a durable and highly resistant elastomer. Uh, highly resistant elastomer composed of silicon containing silicon together with other molecule like carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Its structure is always comprises siloxane backbone and an organic moiety bond to the silicon. Now you see, this is the insulation material, electrical insulation material. So this is after UV radiation. So earlier what happens is in our villages or in our lane or colony, the electrical pole is there. So from the electrical pole, what happens? Uh, that uh, uh, that electrical pole, they are connected with some wire to ground. So from the ground, you will get there is a dangerous is the earth is there sometimes. That's what in between they placed one ceramic bowl. Ceramic bowl they placed to get the resistance, electrical resistance in natural in villages. So that could be replaced with the silicon rubber material now, right now. Even at the top set of transformers also, earlier we are using ceramic bowls. But ceramic bowls are brittle material. This is a highly flexible material. So advantage is there, costly also. This is the process is costly. If you are affordable, we can use in the industry. So it is a highly energy silicon oxygen bonds due to which it offers more resistance to heat than other rubbers. So some of the rubbers are melted even at 50 or 60. Some of the rubbers are getting to melt. But here this is the huge temperature resistance. Dear friends, that's what I chosen this material. After visited that industry, I took that problem. I solved in my own lab with little things with experimentations here. So the inorganic backbone of silicon makes it more resistive to fungus and chemicals. In addition to this, silicon rubber is resistant to ozone and UV attacks. So as a silicon oxygen bond is less susceptible to these attacks than the carbon-carbon bond of the backbone in other elastomers. So that's what. Then these material is improved the highly resistance to the ozone, highly resistance to the UV attacks. That's what this material is used in what we call in a transformer used power transmitter devices, where that always 24 hours, 365 days exposed to the environment. These materials are. So how long we are designing? What is the durability of that material? That is the challenge to every engineer, mechanical engineer or material engineer. Is a very challenge to us to improve the properties of that material or life of that material for as longer as possible. Dear friends, these are the application of the silicon rubber in electrical wiring, food technology, automobiles, consumer electronics, machinery, and automation things also. So this is my purely experimentation in lab. Very simple experiment. I purchased the silicon rubber from Bombay, which is available in one area. I purchased 3-4 kgs at a time. Then I took that silicon rubber. The smell is very bad smell is coming out from the silicon rubber, but we use all the precautions. So that silicon rubber along with the hardener. Hardener is influencing to change the characteristics of the silicon rubber. Hardener also there. So these two we purchased, and you see here there are three whites are there, and in the first figure 3 whites and 3 without whites. That is the transparent. Without white is nothing but transparent. That is the without hardener. Hardener is not added. When you add the hardener, some percentage, that becomes white color. So now you see, then with our available equipment, I test the conductivity also. Megger equipment available in electrical lab. I went to electrical lab. I taken that instrument. I tested whether the conductivity is there or not. So I recorded some of the values from the electrical things also. Then then I go to electrical workshop where what we call the transformer unit in Warangal, where the material, these people are tested whether the material, the electricity is flowing or not. So this is very dangerous place. They are not allowed initially, but I requested uh, the divisional director, sir, we want to develop, we are developing some material. We want to test the some of the electrical insulation, how much electrical resistance is there for this material. We added some insulation. They also afraid because the entire machine is shut down if the material is not good. So then I requested 2-3 times. Finally, they allowed. He is also came. The AD is also came along with their team members. Then this setup is not in my because they are usually tested. This is the government of Telangana. These people, the electricity board, one unit is there in Warangal. These people are going to test the materials. You see that in between two places, my material is fixed. So what happens is here, some voltage suddenly they released. If you resistance to that voltage, then your material is good. And what I experimented with the different percentage of the hardness, so this material is not, some material is not completely converted into liquid, burned, and some material is resisted. So I found that material is very good for this electrical resistance. It's a really challenging job, but we need patience and to visit many places and get the many permissions because some of the testing very difficult. Otherwise, one testing facility is there in Bangalore. Only power testing facility is for material power testing facilities is there in Bangalore only, not even Hyderabad. So that's what I requested. Unofficially, I requested and I took some of the values really. So I am showing that value also. So this is the chemical test. I am taking the chemical solutions, HCl. I placed in a different proportions and some of the pieces of this silicon, liquid silicon rubber with various percentages of hardener. I took those values and placed in the chemical solutions for 24 hours, for 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. I tested different hours. Whether that material is existing for our high concentrated chemicals also I used because when the metal is used in an electrical insulator that exposed to environment in the rain season, in the summer, in the different seasons, this metal is going to whether showing whether existing or not. That's what I'm going to test this material at various environments. Dielectric test, chemical test, and corrosion test also there. I did some of the corrosion test also, this material. See, I took a lot of pain to design this really, dear friends. And again, I have taken, in addition to the hardener, also I used to Al2O3 nanoparticles. That's what I given the importance of nanoparticles, which I did in my own institution, in my laboratory. That's what I explained, I shared with all of you. So Al2O3 nanoparticle, again, I prepared what I told before that, a stirring process, then hot machine, all those things, we prepare the Al2O3 nanoparticles. So these particles properties is a very good, when you use the Al2O3, basically, these advanced technical ceramics, and it has good mechanical and electrical properties, wear resistance, corrosion resistance. It has relatively poor thermal shock resistance. It is used as an electrical insulator for a number of electrical and electronic applications, including spark plug insulators. These are our mechanical device, spark plug insulators, and electronic substrates. So it also used in chemical, medical, and wear applications. In shoes, in a costly shoes, this ceramic, liquid uh, silicon rubber is also used. Silicon rubber is used to design the shoes, some of the shoes, because due to flexibility, they are using to design some of the lace, bottom part, they are designing with this material. And a hardened wear resistance, excellent dielectric properties from direct current to gigahertz frequencies, resist strong acid and alkalic attack. That's what I tested in chemicals, all the H2SO4, HCl, concentrated HCl, and all chemicals are used to test with this whether this material is damaged or not in a different environment. And a good thermal conductivity, excellent size and shape compatibility, high strength and stiffness, available in purity ranges from 94%, and easily metallized composition to 99.8% for the most demanding high temperature applications. Dear friends, you see that chemical and oil testing. And this also used in oils, some of the used and unused oils, that is the engine oils. Is there any chemical reaction with these engine oils? That also I tested. Some of the values I have taken here. And conclusion is the electrical insulation of silicon rubber, which is increased by adding filler material Al2O3. This is the Al2O3 nanoparticle influenced a lot really. The insulation capacity 12 kilovolts to 20 kilovolts. That's what my dream is solved really. At least I expected 1%. Expected 1%, but 12 kilovolts to 20 kilovolts. What I shown that material when their electrical people are tested in the industry. So I'm very happy. So 12 kilovolts to 20 kilovolts is improved by addition of the Al2O3. So that's the reason the influence of the nanoparticles are very clear. That shows very clear in the material to improve the electrical insulation. So chemical properties are improved by addition of Al2O3. That is the corrosion resistance, oxidation resistance, acid resistance. All those things are improved by adding the Al2O3 nanoparticles. These are some of the work I did with Khaja Jafar, is my PhD scholar. And my PhD scholars also did some work with me. There are 3 PhD scholars, they are working under my guidance. They are doing some more work in the materials especially. Dear friends, and one more presentation I want to share with you. So this is the fiber particles are used in silicon rubber real. Instead of nanoparticles Al2O3, here we are using the fiber particles. This is the Sai Prasad and Manogna. They did some of the particle. So fiber scrap I collected from
Sir, the PPT
optical.
isn't visible, sir.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Now it's okay? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Yeah, Mahesh. This is another work. Is a same silicon rubber, but with addition of fiber scrap. This scrap is collected from optical shops. So I went to optical shop. When I repair my spectacles, I have a thought. Why this? Then I asked that optical person, what is the use of this powder? After preparation, uh, they're uh, finding the shape. They are designing the suitable shape. So they are using some uh, machining so that some powder is fall under that machine. I observed. Then I asked that optical shop owner, so what is the use of this powder? No, sir, this is useless after finishing this work. Then just we dump outside. Then I wonder because those fiber material is costly and this powder is they are simply useless. Then I think I requested, sir, can you give it to me? Oh, fine, you can take these powders, no problem. Bulk is there. We don't know what we can do with this. So then I collected powder, nanoparticles. Then I go to machining and I segregated all these particles with different sizes. So some of the particle size I took. Then I started my experimentation with my PG scholars, Sai Prasad and Manojna. Same liquid silicon rubber and add with the fiber scrap as a filler material. So, dear friends, this is the interesting point in the project here. This project is really we found mechanical properties of tensile strength and hardness are increases on the base of effect of a fiber and a hardener. Hardener is there as well as the fiber particles also we added in a liquid silicon rubber matrix. The liquid silicon rubber samples are prepared by hand molding process by using a die. So interestingly, the die is not a big, not a cast iron. Just only, I took a GI sheet, galvanized iron sheet I took and fold it into our required size, whatever size I want, because which we used in a dielectric test. The electrical people used some dimensions that took a dimension from that dielectric people or from the electrical department people. Then I prepared this material. So I took the GI sheet and fold like a how the matchbox is there. Like that, I fold four corners. Then I liquid silicon rubber. Already I used uh, fiber additions, hardener additions. All those things we can add. So these size I can prepare 100 by 100 by 5 mm thickness. So the samples are prepared on the base of the filler and hardener. In the effect of hardener and fiber should constant and hardener will be varied and in the effect of fiber, vice versa. After 24 hours curing time in room temperature, samples are removed from the die. So the curing itself to prepare that sample liquid silicon rubber with the hardener, liquid silicon rubber with fiber particle and liquid silicon rubber with both fiber particle and uh, hardener. So these combinations we have to pour in that die for various compositions. Then after 24 hours. So without hardener, the liquid silicon rubber is easily dry. But with addition of some of the uh, fillers, fiber particles or nanoparticles, it takes 24 hours. Sometimes some samples took 48 hours also to curing only. So that's the challenge in the for the preparation of the material. So for the tensile test, we cut that sample as a according to American Society for Testing Material (ASTM). From the tensile test result, we have observed that the increasing fiber particles increase the tensile strength. So, dear friends, these are we are used for depends on the application, depends on the uses where we have to develop the material. And here also I tested these material in NaCl. sodium chloride and HCl, H2SO4. I did corrosion resistance, electrical conductance tests are done on the samples which gives positive results. So, uh, samples are not reacted with above chemicals. Even though here also this metal is not reacted with the chemicals. That's not the chemical resistance is there for that material. So these metals are required here: liquid silicon rubber and hardener, fiber scrap, and dye. Dye is made up of the GI sheet. Uh, Methodology, different combinations. That's what I told very clear in the before. Silicon rubber with a hardener, one combination. We prepare the material. Silicon rubber, hardener, plus fiber particles, we prepared one samples, one kind of material. And the tray we designed and finishing levels made samples as per the required dimension. So these are the some of the things and very clear I can show you. So this is the liquid silicon where I can get from the spoon liquid silicon rubber, and this is the hardener. These are the fiber particles. These I collected from the optical shop. So these fiber particles I mixed with silicon rubber. Yeah, these are the first parameters I have taken: liquid silicon rubber and hardener. 95% liquid silicon rubber and 5% hardener I took. And the second stage I have taken 90% and 10% hardener. 85% liquid. LSR is nothing but liquid silicon rubber and 15% hardener. So I tested all these combinations for the preparation of this material. So then we can add the filler also here. So 90% liquid silicon rubber and 5% fiber particle, and hardener is the 5%. Then again here 85, 10, 5, 80% LSR and fiber particle 15% and 5% hardener. Then again I come to 85%, 5% and 10, and 80 and 5 and 15%. These are different proportions of compositions we have taken and prepare the material. So which metal, I don't know which metal is influencing much to change the mechanical, chemical and electrical properties. That's what I've taken randomly. I've taken with proper proportions. Then after that, I'm going to test all these things. Whether I confirm with these test, my metal is good. What I developed in my lab is good. So that's what I want to test with all combinations. This is the dye. I already filled with the liquid silicon rubber without hardener. So after curing, then I placed in the, I written some name also. How much a percentage, what is the combination of that proportions, and what is the, whether hardness is added or not, filler is added or not. One strip I written on the paper and I placed inside, inside the cover. So these are my students, PG scholars, the Manogna and Sai Prasad. They did experiment in my lab. This is my lab setup. So they prepared all the samples. With the, you see, there are many dyes are there. GI dyes are there. They have poured all the liquid silicon rubber with the different proportions. So, and here we are weight calculations are there. How much percentage of 5% means how to calculate. So total how much volume is there? This is the volume of the dye we have taken. So 100 into 100 into 5. So this volume is occupied with how much? The mass I have taken with the calculations. That mass I have find out 5%. Then 90% I can. The remaining things I can add it. These are the things these students are poured and they collected a different, prepare the different samples. Dear students, these are the samples we prepared from the experimentations. That is the liquid silicon rubber, hardener and fiber scrap. So different combinations are there here. And I tested some of the samples with tensile standardness. So, dear friends, one more point I want to tell you here. And after, okay, I prepared the material, but I don't know, I don't have any instruments.
हसनत
hello,
आजा बेटा तुम्ही कुछ पढ़ला कर
Mahesh, Mahesh sir.
Sir, you can
Sir,
continue.
sir, I will
Yeah,
you can continue.
yeah, ma'am. Voice is coming from father. Right. So I afraid I developed material, but I don't know how to test this. Then I visited many industries. They won't allow to test the material. See mechanical properties with all these additions. Then finally, I go to MSME. I got that information some with my friends in Hyderabad. Then I went to MSME Balnagar. And then I requested government. Government people are not responded properly. They are not given any response to conduct the test. No, my machine is not working. They are really, they took lot of time. I requested many times. I written letter also, director, many times. Then finally, through letter and mail, the director of MSME is accepted and to conduct the test. For sample, they charged 500 rupees really for hardness. For tensile test, they took 1000 rupees. I really, I cried really. This is a lot of money. Is why the MSCM is taken money to test this material here. See, the testing polymer material, all whatever the equipment is available in my lab is for only testing metals, not for polymers. So polymer, this UTM is not suitable to test the tensile for the polymer. And this, whatever the hardness equipments are available, micro hardness or Rockwell or Brinell, this is not suitable to take the hardness reading. This is a very challenging really and not available. Then I requested MSME, this is MSME guy, engineer in MSME. So he allowed me finally after many days request and hardness test we are taken. So that is the standard device from MSME. So these all my samples are there. Second figure you see, there are many samples are there. I collected different combinations of the samples. So these people are tested all the samples. I paid lot of money, you believe or not. And you see here, and tensile test machine, according to ASTM standard size, I prepared some of the material, this is the tensile standard sample from this liquid silicon rubber, and I tested. That's a simple device, but we don't have that instrument. This is the tensile testing equipment you see. Very simple device. They are going to test the polymers. Tensile test is conducted at MSME, Hyderabad. So, dear friends, these are the things, and you see that values also. The hardness we can take from Shore, Shore A. This is the for polymer material. Effect of the hardener and hardness value is increasing. For sample 1, sample 2, sample 3. Sample 1 I given a value. Sample 1 is 90 for, which is the only filler material, no? With filler material. This is the, there is a 90% liquid silicon rubber and 5% hardener and 5% filler material. And second sample like that we can take. So when we are increasing the filler material, the hardness values are increasing. And these are the variation at 3 mm thickness plate. So effect of the hardness and effect of the fiber particles. This is only hardener, this is only for the fiber. And again for the different for, thickness sample, this is a 4 mm. Earlier is the 3 mm thickness. So hardness, with the hardness value we studied with effect of the hardener, and here also hardness is studied with effect of the fiber for 4 mm thickness plate or material, liquid silicon rubber. This is the 5 mm thickness, because thickness also influencing the conductivity, electrical conductivity, the thickness also may be influencing. That's what I took a thickness also. I considered thickness materials also. So this is a 3 mm thickness sample without filler. Dear friends, this is another values I have taken, these things. So these are the some of the values I shared with you based on my experimentation, little experimentation, simple experimentation in my laboratory. That's what I want to share with you all these experiments. Anybody, any questions I expect from you? Mahesh sir. Mahesh sir. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell me,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
I want to stop this. Any questions from participants? How many participants are there, sir, today?
Sir, total we have 50. Now at present, 47 participants are there, sir.
Okay. Right.
Hello.
So, shall I expect the questions from the participants? Any questions?
Yeah. Yes,
Possible?
yes, you can, sir. Just one. So, dear participants, if you have any queries or questions, you can ask. You can ask. Dear participants, anybody have any questions? Sir, I have one question. These
Please.
nanoparticles you are making it in your lab, no, sir?
Right.
How you are making those nanoparticles, sir?
That's
TiO2 like that.
Yeah, I given know the solutions. Some of
Okay.
the solutions I told. That chemicals I collected and stirring properly. Stirred on the stirrer is there. So magnetic stirrer is there. These compositions you place on the what we call the beaker, and you place there, and start your rotating, and one stick also there. You continuously you stir it. So after 30 minutes or 1 hour, we don't know how much time is taking to get there. So after that, you place in the hot plate, in the furnace. Then you will get not so easy, but it takes a lot of time. The required chemicals you have to collect. So that setup is required here.
Right, sir. Right.
So
Anybody have any doubts?
Sir,
yeah,
hello.
please welcome,
Yeah,
Sir,
please.
how can we deposit nanoparticles, sir?
sir. Hello,
Yeah. Can you
hello.
please repeat
Sir,
your question?
sir, how can we prepare composite nanomaterials? Because those are very 10 into 9 is the nano. How
Uh,
can we prepare the composite nanomaterials?
Composite nanomaterials.
Yes, sir. Same doubt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, these are the I prepared only ceramics. So oxide particles I prepared, but you want after preparation of these ceramic oxides, then you have to combine together. That's simple. But only oxides be able to prepare from the this solution combustion process or sol gel method. There are many techniques are there. There are many techniques existing right now to prepare the nanoparticles. But I have used the solution combustion process. After mixing these chemicals, I explained one of the in a slide the preparation of the nanoparticles. So you take that is the nitrate solution and mix with the another solution and you stir it properly and place on the magnetic stirrer. So you rotate continuously, not only 2 minutes or 5 minutes. Is 30 minutes I took, but some chemicals they take even 60 minutes also. Right?
Yes, sir.
I
Thank you.
thank you, colleague. Real. I think everybody is. I hope that understood my concern. The simple things you can carry your own experiments with this, right? You can develop your own material with your available resources. But you need patience. Lot of focus is required. I think I wish you good luck and everybody. I hope that everybody is carrying their own research. I expect, right? Thank you very much. And once again, thanks to Mahesh and Harish and Surendra sir for providing this opportunity. and their thanks to management also for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much, and nice to
Sir,
see you.
I really thank you for accepting our invitation and sharing this knowledge.
Yeah,
With your presentation, I came to know that you have done a lot of work in nanotechnology, and I hope that our faculty members also will be interesting to talk with you regarding this. I
definitely.
really thanks our principal sir also
Yeah,
to send the invitation and making
thank you,
this presentation so valuable.
thank you,
Uh,
thank,
Sir,
thank you very much.
I really felt very happy to see your presentation, sir. Really, thank you. If you participants, if you have any doubt further, also you can share. I have already in WhatsApp group. I have shared one email ID. In that, you can send to us. We will send your queries to Dr. P. Samaya Garu, HOD SRM University. Sir, if participants within a 15 minute for 15 minutes, attendance and feedback sheet will be sent to your chat group and as well as to WhatsApp group. You can open that open that Google form and you can give your feedback. And with this, I will wind up today's session.
Hello.
Thank you,
Sir.
Samay Garu. I really thank Principal Garu. I really thank
Hello.
all participants. Sir, hello, sir.
Sir, actually, this chat box is not enabled to the participants, sir. It is
Is it
only
Can
to,
ask,
sir?
can
If
it
you
unmute
are
is
your
enabled so that we can type the questions now.
okay, right? I will enable that one. If you are
And sir,
still not able to do it, you coordinators numbers are there. Just one time, if you just send a message, we will add you in the WhatsApp group also. Through that, you can send your queries.
uh,
I will enable the chat box. Just 1 minute.
not now,
Ramakrishna
sir.
Garu.
From tomorrow
Ram,
onwards,
yes, sir.
the chat box is enabled to the participants so that they can type the questions. So that is what
Yes,
my
sir.
idea.
It is enable if while presentation is going on, if we are enabling it, the problem is just they are messaging hi, hello,
At
and
least
this
during
message.
the question and answer hour, it can be enabled.
Yeah, sure, sure. I will take this the feedback positively. I will do it surely, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, I have one question, sir. Can I ask?
Yeah, you can. To me or to Samaya Garu?
To Samayagars.
Okay, sir. Okay, right. Carry on. Please, sir.
Sir, good
Sir,
afternoon, sir.
Samaya Garu?
Good afternoon, sir. Please
Sir,
welcome.
what are different methods of producing nano powders and what is the best suitable?
Best method is sol gel method.
Soul gel method. Okay,
Sol
sir.
gel method is the best, and if you have a setup and instrument, you can develop. But only that you can produce bulk. Huge amount you can produce from the sol gel method. But for my experimentation, I want only little amount. That's what I choose this solution combustion process.
Okay, sir.
But be careful, reactivity is there during chemicals.
Sir.
Reactivity reaction is there. Please take care of while you are conducting the experiment. Thank you. It's a good question, really.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? So please come forward if you have any questions. Okay, then we will wind up today's session. Sir,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you, Samaya Garu. Okay.
Thank you
Ramakrishna,
so
sir,
much, sir.
we can